Well, good evening, Full Sail University, and all of our guests. I am all that's left of what used to be Michael Reeves. I'm the director of sessions here at Full Sail. Thank you. Nice round of applause for the two Jeffs. Did a good job. I want to talk for just a couple of minutes here about the impact that Les Paul had on my corner of the world, on my industry, and I want to do that in a little more personal term. And in doing so, I want to invite you, if you have a story or an anecdote or a comment or just some thought that you'd like to say about Les or his impact and his work's impact on your life, please make your way up to the front of the stage, up here just to my left. If you just have a seat here on the edge of the stage, or just kind of hang out here for a minute, and then when I finish with this, we'll bring you up, and you can say whatever it is that's on your mind. As I said, I'm the director of sessions here at Full Sail, and you are the indirect beneficiary of time-release medication. No, they'll edit all this out later. It's okay. It's fine, really. Like a lot of you, I first heard of the name Les Paul from my guitar playing friends. I remember asking my parents, why are they so, enamored with these guitars named after this guy? And of course, my parents, being a little older than me, told me who Les was and talked about his singing career and his partnership with Mary Ford. And that was that. I didn't think about it again. And I kept crossing paths with this man and his work as my life went forward. And my career began to evolve. Moved up to New York City, ran across my father's old quarter-inch open reel TIAC, and discovered you could actually do something called sound-on-sound recording with it, and that was it for me. And so that got me to doing a little bit of investigating, did some research, found out, again, wow, here's this guy, Les Paul. Well, when we think about legends in our industry, in the music industry, in the recording industry, most people influenced by Les's work through the guitar. I mean, try to imagine for a minute all of your favorite records, all your favorite songs that you can think of, and then think about them without the advent of Les's work. For example, what would Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody be without the rich, layered vocals? What would the Sgt. Pepper's album have been without all the orchestration? The bottom line here is that the measure of this man's work, when we think about legends in our industry, we think about Eric Clapton. Somebody mentioned Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder would come to mind. We think about legends behind the scenes. On my side of the world, you can think about people like Clive Davis or Tom Dowd or the legendary Bruce Swedien that Gary mentioned earlier. Roy Thomas Baker, Sir George Martin, these people come to mind. A lot of people don't really take the impact of the fact that this man did so much more on the technical side. So the personal side of my story brings me to the Iridium Jazz Club in New York City that Jeff was talking about, not that Jeff, the other Jeff, that he mentioned, where Les did 2 shows every Monday night for I don't know how many years. If anybody knows, holler it out. It had to have been more than 15. And I used to encourage, up until just recently, encourage all of my students when they came through the course, if you're in New York, go to see this show. As I met Les briefly, very, very briefly, at an AES convention, I was invited by a friend of his to, why don't you come over to the show? My wife and I went over later that night, and I was sitting. If you've never been to the Iridium, it's a very small club. I don't think it's as large as this venue here. It's very intimate. And here's this guy. At the time, I think the last time that we saw Les, he would have been probably 87 or 88. And I'd come in to see him many, many times. And I just sat there and watched him, and I watched all the people around me. And it's much like this audience here. Everybody there just loved music so much, and he fed back on that. And I got to thinking about everything that I had done with my life and my career. And I thought about words that I used on a daily basis, like phase shifting, that Jeff mentioned earlier. Not that Jeff, but the other one. multi-track, just the whole idea of multi-track, the words sound on sound, the ping pong effect, all of these things, and I got to thinking about all the different people that impacted. What would you need a big, large, solid-state logic console for if you didn't have a multi-track recorder to feed things into? What would you need a plant that would build those? Why would you need to employ all those people? Why would you need to build these machines? Why would you need to build all this special effects gear that was based on the techniques that Les found? And a lot of people don't know this about Les. He was a very humble man. Didn't ever really think that his work was that important. He was always just looking for a way to make things better. The idea of coming up with multi-track recording in the first place stemmed from his partnership with Mary Ford, wanting to be able to have her sing harmony with herself. He had done work earlier with the Andrews Sisters and was quite enamored with the very tight harmony that the Andrews Sisters had, and thought, you know, if one person, these are sisters, but if one person could sing harmony with themselves, and that sort of launched him off on this whole path to find out how to do this. You know, selective synchronization, all these terms and stuff. I'm sitting here watching this guy, which, by the way, could absolutely shred on a guitar at, you know, nearly 90 years old. Wonderful, wonderful player. And I'm thinking about all these terms, and he was right when he said he comes out in the audience. And I finally got a chance to shake his hand, and I just looked at him in the eye and I said, thank you. And being typical Les Paul, and not having any idea who the devil I was or what I was talking about, he said, well, whatever it was my pleasure. And the bass player was standing right behind him, and he just leaned over to me and said, thank you for what? Did he play a song that you had asked him to play? And I said, no. I said, thank you for a career. Because without Les Paul, I wouldn't have had a career as a recording engineer. And subsequently, I don't know what I'd be teaching here at Full Sail. Film, perhaps. So the impact on our community, both as a recording entity and as an educational entity, is beyond words, because without his work, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and without his work, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have gone on to law school and made my parents happier, but I wouldn't have had near the fun that I did. And so with that, I just want to say God bless you, Les, and thank you for everything once again. And I'd like to invite anybody else to come up and give their private testimonial, if they will, at this time.